I was absolutely terrified. I got a call and they told me I was going to be directing the film, and I had no idea how I was ever going to do that. They had a start date, the script was in not great shape, and I had no idea how I was ever going to bring off what I thought all the fans must have been expecting.
Sometimes, I think we youngsters and whippersnappers like putting ourselves in the position of older people. What did it look like when people saw in black and white? Why did everyone have the same kind of accent? And what was living through the hype of Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man film like for so many fans back then? Since most of my audience aren't middle-aged, it's quite hard to imagine this for ourselves. However, through research, we can get the next best thing, a time capsule of sorts, bringing forth promotional material from more than 20 years ago in order to figure out what it must have been like for people 20 years ago who were eagerly anticipating the release of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film back in the year 2000.
If you think superheroes like me can fight all your battles for you, think again. Voting for your local, state, and federal representative lets you choose who's on your side in all the issues we face today.
Marvel had been trying to make a Spider-Man film for years, with several companies in the mid-80s to late 90s trying their hand at producing a Spider-Man movie. The closest we got to a Spider-Man film actually being made was by Canon Films, and they were so enthusiastic about the film's production that they released tons of marketing material for the film. The promo material came as a result of Canon trying to sell distribution rights for the movie even before filming began. As a result, multiple pieces of promotional material released to the public, including the conceptual artwork, different costume tests for Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and even a teaser trailer hyping up the movie to merchandisers and the general public.
Spider-Man, the movie. A live-action spectacular directed by Joe Zito.
This served as our very first look at a live-action Spider-Man film. Unfortunately, this Canon Films Spider-Man project would be cancelled due to the company losing too much money after a string of bad financial decisions. So for the time being, it would be a while till audiences truly saw Spider-Man in live action.
Isn't Marvel's new Pizzazz magazine fantastic? Fantastic, but not perfect.
Well, not quite. We have to remember that Spider-Man did make quite a few appearances within different low-budget TV shows, several fan films, and even TV commercials. Although they may seem underwhelming now, we have to remember that at the time, these served as the only glimpse of a Spider-Man in any live-action project. So although cheap, they'd have to settle for these, at least for a while. Of course, Spider-Man's film rights would be in a state of limbo for a couple of years, with James Cameron and David Fincher both having a crack at the project before ultimately leaving. Unfortunately, this meant that no form of promo material would release for Spider-Man for a couple of years until the rights went to Columbia Pictures and Sony Entertainment, which finally allowed the public to see some form of a live-action Spider-Man for the first time in years. However, unfortunately, only a selective exclusive crowd would be able to see it this time around. When Columbia acquired the film rights to Spider-Man, they immediately began work on bringing the film to life. After many decades, Spider-Man would finally make his big screen debut. Marvel Entertainment was very excited about the film finally entering development, and they'd begin the process of garnering excitement for the film within the film industry. In the year 2000, Marvel would commission Big Chair Productions to produce a 5-minute presentation to show investors to drum up excitement. The presentation consisted of original live-action shots, still images, animations, and graphics in order to create this project, which was titled Year of the Spider. And since this wasn't something shown to the general public, fans would still be in the dark for a long time, as any semblance of footage were once again exclusive to those within the industry. In March 2000, an event called Showest which most of you know as CinemaCon, the first teaser for Spider-Man was shown. The teaser was pretty simple, a panning shot of silver webbing within a black background, with a narrator hyping up the viewer on what they could expect from this movie.
As the most anticipated motion picture event of 2001 takes you for the ultimate spin.
The webbing would then form the Spider-Man logo, which as you can see represents a very early version of the design, with much more bold lettering. At this point in the movie's production, only conceptual artwork could have possibly existed, so this teaser would be the only way for viewers to gauge what the vision for this film was supposed to be. This teaser would later be described to the general public through descriptions of those who attended. Now at this point in time, the general public were yet to see anything from the film, with most of what we got being rumors surrounding the script, villains, and story elements. Rumors such as Doc Ock and Green Goblin being the villains of the film, and a rumor stating that Sam Raimi was using a form of organic webbing. The next time anyone got a glimpse at this Spider-Man movie was 2 months later. Sony was holding some kind of presentation for merchandisers. Somehow, fans were able to get their hands on the invitation sent out, and through this, we finally got our first glimpse at the Spider-Man movie. The invitation showed a graphic for the movie that not only revealed the logo and title, but also the visual style for the movie. The logo had this almost techno look to it, with a vibrant blue background. Although this logo was shown at Showest, we have to remember that the event was private, so this served as our first real look at the logo, but also the subtitle as well, the motion picture. Now realistically, you'd expect the fan reactions to be positive, but that was far from the truth. A large amount of fans at the time were actually pretty critical of these early visuals. Taking a look at some comments at the time, it seems fans were annoyed at the silver retro look of the logo, as it seems at the time metallic futuristic-like logos proliferated Hollywood, creating a sense of annoyance among certain fan bases. Fans were also annoyed by the subtitle "A Motion Picture," as it made the film seem pretentious. In the end, the logo would end up being changed in the final movie. However, the metallic look of the logo would be maintained, as well as the bright, colorful graphics. This would be the only piece of content fans would get for a while. Luckily, rumors about the film's story would still circulate the web from time to time. For anyone who was looking to see more content for the film, Comic-Con 2000 was only 2 months away, so it was the place one had to be to get any look at what Raimi was cooking. And oh boy, did they release some very interesting bits of information for the movie. At Comic-Con 2000, a behind-the-scenes video for Spider-Man was being shared around the convention, giving viewers a sneak peek at the production. According to accounts from people who attended, the video was a presentation hosted by Sam Raimi and multiple crew members, and consisted of them sharing the overall vision for the film. Luckily, there are a few images of this video that give us a look at what this video was like, featuring Sam Raimi talking within the New York skyline, our very first look at what the suit looked like through conceptual artwork, and a shot of Green Goblin's glider and laboratory, and finally the early logo, which was still very much present at this point in time. The only difference is that the title was changed to Spider-Man the Movie instead of Spider-Man the Motion Picture. According to transcripts that were provided from this video, Raimi states that the villains of the film were Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin. We know for a fact that at this point in time, Doc Ock was indeed a villain for the film, thanks to the presence of conceptual artwork not only showing different variations of Dr. Octopus, but also one piece of artwork even shows what his role in the film would have been. The most interesting detail that was revealed during this event was the confirmation from Sam Raimi that Peter did indeed have organic webbing in the film. The explanation given was that organic webbing would be another way to further develop Peter's character and really explore his isolation from society.
And this kid is vested with these powers, or perhaps cursed with these powers. But the important thing is he's one of us. Now, in the comic book, which I'm a giant fan of, he is a genius. And we're going to keep that. He's a very smart kid. But when he can develop a material that even 3M Corporation can't seem to develop, it starts to distance him from a real human being. It distances him from the average kid in high school.
As you can expect, the reactions towards Raimi using organic webbing was very mixed. In fact, many fans made clear their displeasure through expressing their feelings to many websites at the convention, and some even started their own personal blogs in order to spread the awareness of just how unhappy they were. And some fans did believe that Raimi was not listening to what fans wanted, and this creative choice would make Spider-Man into a laughingstock. Besides a few rumors, nothing really came out about the Spider-Man film for a few months after, but it wasn't until September 2000 where fans finally found out that the movie had been delayed from the original November 2001 date to May 2002. For some reason at the time, this announcement did create rampant speculation that the project had been cancelled altogether, but there wasn't really much to back up this information. Filming for Spider-Man began later that year, and production would continue through the months behind closed doors, with fans eagerly anticipating leaks from the set and descriptions of different sequences. But the studio was preparing to show audiences their first glimpse at the movie come E3 2001, back when that was still a thing.
We've got a lot of high hopes for Spider-Man. We think it's going to be very entertaining. It's about thrilling the audience in as new a way as possible.
In fact, in February 2001, a sizzle reel was created by Greg Socher, which was meant to be the first pieces of footage shown to the public. The video itself doesn't actually show all that many clips from the movie, as the video mostly consists of graphics, behind-the-scenes miniatures, a shot of Spider-Man's early costume, and some conceptual artwork.
We're going to have the Green Goblin.
Interestingly, the Green Goblin was shown in this conceptual art as well. The reason I say it's interesting is that at the time, nobody actually knew what the Green Goblin would look like in the movie, so this conceptual artwork served as our very first look at the character. I'm not entirely sure if this sizzle reel was ever actually released to the public. I wasn't born around that time, so if anyone remembers this sizzle reel, let me know in the comments. What's really cool is that this sizzle reel is likely an altered and re-edited version of this video shown to fans during Comic-Con 2000. Not only is Raimi in the same position, wearing the exact same clothes, with the same hair as well, but the city background is the same. Certain dialogue is similar to the transcript from Comic-Con 2000, and similar images are shown in both as well.
He has captivated audiences for nearly 40 years. His fans number over 40 million worldwide. And now, he's coming to the big screen. Spider-Man.
Our first official look at Spider-Man was during E3 2001, where a teaser trailer was shown to the audience. The trailer used the same silver webbing graphic as the Showest teaser, with the same narration and quick shots of scenes from the movie, but also behind-the-scenes shots as well. First off, the early Spider-Man test suit makes an appearance here once again, and for a brief moment, you can even notice the David Williams suit, which was only present very early in production. Clearly, the presence of these two early suits from the film shows that the production team had yet to actually nail down the look of the costume, so they were settling for anything they had at the time. Another indication of just how little footage they had to show was the presence of unfinished CGI shots. The most noticeable aspect of this trailer was the presence of web shooters, which was also present in the Sizzle reel as well. There's also the fact that web shooters were on display at the E3 show floor, making it clear to everyone attending that web shooters were indeed in the movie. This is interesting considering that Sam Raimi had made it pretty clear that he was using organic webbing a year prior. Well, according to an article released by Entertainment Weekly, supposedly Sony released a video of Spider-Man and the Green Goblin answering fan questions for the movie. In one explanation, they state that Raimi had intended to include organic webbing. However, due to fan backlash, Raimi had changed his mind and included web shooters in the film. However, organic webbing was still present in the movie as well. Supposedly, when Peter gains his powers for the first time, he learns that he can't control the direction of his webs, so he's forced to build web shooters. This could mean that web shooters in this universe specifically exist in order for Peter to control the direction and force of his webs, but that's unlikely. So web shooters likely only exist in the film to appease fans who were upset by the creative choice. The next time anything substantial was shown for the film was the next teaser, which shows a group of men robbing a bank and then proceeding to escape in a helicopter. The men would then be caught by Spider-Man, who traps them in between the Twin Towers. This was an iconic shot, and several posters would be released showing the Twin Towers reflected in Spider-Man's eye. However, as we all know, after September 11th, the trailer and posters would quickly be pulled from the web and replaced shortly after.
Not everyone is meant to make a difference, but for me, the choice to live an ordinary life is no longer an option.
The rest of the story we all know by now. Sony continued to release trailers for the film, and merchandise would continue to garner hype for the movie, eventually leading to the premiere and release of the film.